Today's lesson has been brought to you by Limitless Learning TT. For additional videos as well as more information on the services we offer, please visit www.limitlesslearningtt.com. You can send us an email at limitlesslearningtt@gmail.com or give us a call at 868-354-3115. In this video, we will be providing the solutions to the January 2014 CSEC Mathematics Paper 2 examination. Let's look at the first question. Calculate the exact value of 1 3/4 minus 1/8 plus 5/6 divided by 2/3. The first thing I'm going to do is change this mixed fraction into an improper fraction. That's going to be 1 times 4 is 4, plus 3 is going to give me 7 in my numerator over 4 in my denominator. I continue with minus 1/8, plus 5/6 divided by 2/3. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to find the common denominator for these two fractions. The common denominator will be 8, as we have 4 in the first denominator and 8 in the second denominator. So our common denominator is 8. 7 over 4 into 8 is going to give us 14 over 8. And then 1/8 remains the same. And we continue with the rest of the question. And 14 minus 1 is going to give me 13 over 8. Now I'm going to focus on my second set of parentheses. This is 5/6 divided by 2/3. We know when we're doing the division of a fraction, we change the division sign to a multiplication sign. And then we keep our first fraction as 5/6. And we invert our second fraction, so that becomes 3/2. So now our parentheses has 5/6 multiplied by 3/2. Now we can cancel terms. 3 into 3 is 1. 3 into 6 is 2. So we're left with 5/4. So now we have 13 over 8 plus 5/4. Now to add these two fractions, I need to find a common denominator, which is going to be 8. Our first fraction will remain as 13 over 8. And 5/4 in terms of 8 is going to be 10 over 8. So now I have 13 plus 10 in my numerator, and that's going to give me 23 over 8 in my denominator. So that's our answer, 23 over 8. Part B of our question, using a calculator, otherwise calculate the square root of 2.891 plus 1.2 divided by 1.31 to be squared. You need to give your answer correct to 2 decimal places. This one is fairly simple. You just punch in the numbers into your calculator. However, you want to try and use the exact values as much as possible. And then when you get a final answer, then you're going to give your answer to 2 decimal places. So make sure that when you punch in your value, for example, for the square root of 2.891, that the answer that you use has at least 4 decimal places. And the same thing for 1.2 divided by 1.31 squared. Make sure that your answer has at least 4 decimal places. Then you add them up, and then the final answer you will correct to 2 decimal places. The answer will be 2.40 to 2 decimal places. Part C, a jeweler paid $6,800 for 165 bracelets bought in China. The customs department in his country charged him $1,360 in duty. And the first part of the question is asking you to calculate the total cost of 165 bracelets inclusive of duty. So 165 bracelets cost $6,800, and then customs charged $1,360. So the total cost will be the price paid for the 165 bracelets plus the customs charge. So your answer is 6,800 plus 1,360, which is $8,160. The second part of Part C is the jeweler sold 165 bracelets at a selling price of $68.85 each. Calculate the total profit he made on the sale of 165 bracelets. So if he sold them at $68.85 each, then he would have made $68.85 times 165, which is $11,360.25. That's the money that he would have made from selling the 165 bracelets. But remember, he paid $8,160 to purchase the bracelets. So the profit is going to be the money made or the revenue minus the cost for the bracelets. So that's $11,360.25 minus $8,160, and that leaves us with $3,200.25. The last part of Part C, calculate the profit as a percentage of the cost price given your answer to the nearest whole number. Okay, so you want profit as a percentage of cost price. So that is going to be profit divided by cost price multiplied by 100, which is, our profit is $3,200.25 divided by our cost price, which is $8,160 multiplied by 100, and that results in 39% to the nearest whole number. So just to recap, the total cost we got to be $8,160. The profit we found to be $3,200.25, and the profit as a percentage of the cost price, 39% to the nearest whole number. Question number 2. Part A, solve for x where x is a real number. 2 times the quantity x minus 6 plus 3x less than or equal to 8. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is expand our brackets or parentheses on the left hand side. So we're going to distribute this 2, and we get 2x minus 12 plus 3x less than or equal to 8. Next, we want to put all the x terms together. So that's 2x plus 3x minus 12 less than or equal to 8. Then 2x plus 3x is going to give me 5x minus 12 is less than or equal to 8. And now we want to have all the x's on one side and all the constants on the other side. So I'm going to add 12 to both sides to eliminate this negative 12 on the left-hand side. So I get 5x minus 12 plus 12 less than or equal to 8 plus 12. Negative 12 plus 12 gives me 0. So now on my left-hand side I have 5x less than or equal to 8 plus 12 is 20. And 5x is less than or equal to 20. Now I want to just have x alone on the left-hand side. So I'm going to divide both sides by 5. So 5x divided by 5 less than or equal to 20 divided by 5. 5x divided by 5 leaves me with x less than or equal to 20 divided by 5, which is 4. So my final answer is x less than or equal to 4. The second part of part A says using a number line, show your solution for the previous part. So what we're going to do is show a solution on a number line for x is less than or equal to 4. Okay, so this is my number line. I am looking for values that are less than 4, which means that 3, 2, 1, 0, negative 2, and onwards. It's going to take me less than 4. And because x can also be 4, That means that we include our number 4 by writing a dot on the number line that represents 4. Just a quick reminder, if we had x strictly less than 4, then that means that at the point 4 we would write an open circle to represent that 4 is not included, but it's all the values that are less than 4. So this is our answer. Part B, factorize completely 3x minus 6y plus ax minus 2ay. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is put all our x terms together and our y terms together. So our x terms will be 3x and ax, and our y terms will be minus 6y and minus 2 times ay. So I'm just going to group the x terms together and group the y terms together. So I'm going to get 3x plus ax, and then the y terms together, minus 6y minus 2ay. When I look at my 2x terms, the only thing that they have in common is x. So 3x and ax, the only thing that they have in common is x. So what I'm going to do is pull out x, and that means that I will be left with 3 plus a inside my parentheses. So that makes sense because x times 3 will give me my 3x, and x times a will give me my ax. Now when I'm looking at my y terms, they have y in common, but I have 6y and I have minus 2ay. So technically I have minus 3 times 2 times y, because 3 times 2 is 6 and 6 times y is 6y, and then here I have minus 2 times ay. So what's in common for my y terms will be y and 2 and y and 2. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did for the x terms. Instead now I am going to pull out 2y, which is common to both of my y terms. So again, I pull out my minus 2y, and inside I am left with 3 plus a. And again, this makes sense because 2y times 3 will give me back my 6y, and 2y times a will give me back my 2ay. So now I have x times 3 plus a minus 2y times 3 plus a. So now I see that I have 3 plus a in common. So I have 3 plus a here in common and 3 plus a here in common. So now I'm going to pull out 3 plus a, which means that what's left is my first term x and then my second term minus 2y. So I'm left with 3 plus a times x minus 2y. So my final answer is 3 plus a multiplied by x minus 2y. Part 2 asks me to factorize completely p squared minus 1. P squared minus 1 is the same thing as p squared minus 1 squared, since 1 squared is 1. And now what we have here is a difference of 2 squares. And according to the rules of difference of 2 squares, this is going to be equal to p minus 1 times p plus 1. So again, our final answer is p minus 1 times p plus 1, since this question is a difference of 2 squares. 2-part C asks us to expand and simplify 2k minus 3 multiplied by k minus 2. Okay, so we multiply our first term 2k by k, then we're also going to multiply 2k by negative 2, then we're going to multiply negative 3 by k, and negative 3 by negative 2. So 2k by k is going to give me 2k squared. 2k by negative 2 is going to give me negative 4k. Negative 3 times k is going to give me negative 3k. And negative 3 times negative 2 is going to give me positive 6. And now I have two terms that involve k, so I can perform the operation on them. So negative 4k minus 3k is going to give me negative 7k. So I'm left with 2k squared minus 7k plus 6. And this is my final answer. Part D, the lines whose equations are 3x plus y equals 2 and 4x minus 2y equals 6 intersect at the point xy. Show that the point of intersection is 1, negative 1. Okay, so let's call 3x plus y equals 2 equation 1. And let's call 4x minus 2y equals 6 equation 2. So using equation 1, we have 3x plus y is equal to 2. And what I'm going to do is only have y on the left-hand side. So I'm going to take away 3x from both sides. So 3x take away 3x plus y is equal to 2 minus 3x. 3x minus 3x is going to leave me with 0. 0 plus y is just going to be y is equal to 2 minus 3x. So basically I would have rearranged equation 1 to give me y is equal to 2 minus 3x, and I'm going to substitute this value for y into my equation 2. So now I'm using equation 2. 4x minus 2 times, and y is 2 minus 3x according to equation 1 is equal to 6. Okay, so that is 4x, and now we have minus 2 multiplied by 2 to give me minus 4, and then minus 2 multiplied by minus 3x to give me plus 6x is equal to 6. Now I can put the x terms together on the left hand side to get 4x plus 6x, which is 10x, minus 4 is equal to 6. Now I'm going to add 4 to both sides to get rid of this negative 4. So that gives me 10x minus 4 plus 4 is equal to 6 plus 4. So on my left hand side I will have 10x plus 0, which is just 10x, and 6 plus 4 on my right hand side, which is 10. And now I can divide both sides by 10 to just get x on the left hand side. So 10x divided by 10, 10 divided by 10. This will give me x on my left hand side and 1 on my right hand side. So x is 1. So now if x is 1, I can substitute this value of x back into y is equal to 2 minus 3 times x. So if x is 1, y is equal to 2 minus 3 times x, which is 1. And that is 2 minus 3, which is negative 1. So I found that x is 1 and y is negative 1, which means that I have shown that my point is 1, negative 1. Number 3. In a class of 32 students, all the students study Spanish, which is represented by S, and 20 of the students study French, which is represented by F. Represent this information on a Venn diagram. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is draw a rectangle that's going to represent our universal set. So the number in our universal set represents the number of students in the class, which will be 32. Now the information they gave is that all students study Spanish. So the number that's going to be in Spanish is also going to be 32, and Spanish is going to be represented by a circle. So this means that there are no students that do not study Spanish. So there's going to be no numbers that are in the yellow box but not in the purple circle. The last piece of information that they gave is that 20 students study French. Those 20 students that study French must be a part of all of the students that are in the class and all of the students that study Spanish. So that means that the circle that is going to represent French is going to be inside our purple circle. And the number that study French is 20. The second part of the question asks us to calculate the number of students who study Spanish but not French. So if 20 students study French and all the students, which is 32, take Spanish, that means that the number that take Spanish that are not in French must be 32 minus 20. And part 3 asks us to write using set notation the relationship between F and S. Now all French students take Spanish, so therefore that must mean that F is a subset of S. So our notation will be that F is a subset of S, and is a subset means that every element in F is in S. So that means that all the students that take French must also take Spanish, and this is true. So this is the answer for part 3. Part B of number 3 says the diagram below is an accurate plan of the floor of a room. All the corners are right angles. All measures shown on the diagram are recorded to the nearest meter. Part 1 states in terms of X the length of the floor and the length L of the floor. Now L is made up of this little distance here, which corresponds with X. This distance here, which corresponds with 5. This distance here, which corresponds with 2x. So therefore, L is going to be equal to x plus 5 plus 2x. Part 2 asks us, says the perimeter of the floor is 56 meters. Determine the value of x. So if the perimeter is 56 meters, then that means that x plus 3 plus 5 plus x plus 2x plus 3 plus L should give me 56. And we would have found from before that L is the same thing as x plus 5 plus 2x. So now we substitute that in. So now we group all our x terms here, 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 and here. And that gives us 8x. And we add up our numbers 3 plus 5 plus 3 plus 5, which gives us plus 16, must be equal to 56. If we take 16 from both sides, we will get that 8x is equal to 40. And we divide both sides by 8. And we get x is equal to 5. And the last part of the question asks us to calculate the area of the floor. So we're looking at the area of this figure plus the area of this figure plus the area of this figure. Okay, so the yellow figure is a square, which is x squared is the area, plus the area of our green figure is going to be a rectangle, which the length is 5, or the length is, sorry, x plus 3 multiplied by the width is 5. And then our last shape is also a rectangle, which we have a length of 3 times a width of 2x. And we found before that x is equal to 5. So now we substitute that into our equation. We get 5 squared plus 8 times 5 plus 3 times 10. So 25 plus 40 plus 30, which should give us 95. We've just completed question 1, 2, and 3 from the January 2014 CSEC Mathematics Paper 2 examination. Solutions to the remaining questions will be provided in subsequent videos. These videos, as well as additional information on the services we offer, can be found at www.limitlesslearningtt.com. You can send us an email at limitlesslearningtt@gmail.com or call us at 868-354-3115.